that Yolanda Adams?
With everything that has gone on in our society and in our world today, we really need to know that God is there. And I am so grateful to know that the things that we deal with in life, they don't come to stay, but those things too shall pass. I really do believe that my music is a love song from God because it's Him that gives me the words, gives me the music. I work with great producers like Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Greg Curtis, those guys who know my heart, and they've known me for years and years and years. And we get together and we just do write love songs that can be interpreted by the listener in the way that they need it interpreted. And so, yeah, it definitely is a love song from God. What seems to be your darkest hour. The Yolanda Today Tour is going to feature a few of my friends that I know have wonderful relationships with God, but they just don't sing gospel music. You know, they happen to be R&B singers or jazz musicians or pop singers. I want to give people new insight on what it's like to love God, you know, because so many people have come up to me and said, you know, you don't look like the basic church singer, you don't look like the person who, you know, goes to church every single day and blah, 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 blah. I said, well, I'm one of those people who believes that God is cool every day. And so I wanted to show people that the Eddie Leverts of the world, the Shaka Khans of the world, folks like Ruben Studdard, they have messages and they have things to say. And we need to listen to them because their relationships with God are much closer than we think. Never ever judge a book by its cover. My grandmother told me, my mom told me, everybody's told me that all my life. So since I know them personally, since they are my friends, I know that they're some of the greatest people in the world. And that's why Yolanda Today is going to be groundbreaking. There's a definite difference between religion and spirituality. Religion is what you're called, the denomination, whether you're Baptist, non-denominational, Catholic, Methodist, Episcopalian. Spirituality is having a relationship with God that goes beyond a Sunday service or a Saturday service or just saying that you're a Christian or that you believe in God. Spirituality goes, I mean, it's daily. It's a thing that you practice and believe daily. And I think that's how relationships go. You have to nurture them daily. Well, I believe that there's always going to be that controversy of whether or not, you know, this person is a believer or that person is a believer. I say all the time that you cannot judge a person by what their occupation is and what they love to do. Once again, Shaka Khan has a great testimony of how God took her off drugs, and He took her off one day at a time. And I mean, her testimony is huge, and it's going to help a lot of young people, and it's going to help a lot of young single mothers. And Eddie Levert's testimony about how he loves God is going to help a lot of young men, you know, because Eddie Levert has been married to his wife and he has children, things like that. You know, he's going to be able to strengthen our community. And that's what I believe. I believe that there are so many people out there who, like myself, believe that you don't have to just be a gospel singer or a preacher or a pastor in order to have a relationship with God. That would be crazy. 'Cause it rained on your parade. Seems nobody cares about you anyway. I've always wanted to sing gospel music. I've always wanted to inspire people. I've always wanted to encourage people. And I found for myself that singing gospel music is my vehicle to the world to tell them how much God loves them and how true His love is and how unconditional it is. Because there are so many people that don't believe at the end of the day that, you know, what they're doing is worth something or who they are is enough. And that's what God gives us. He lets us know that you're enough just as you are. Just walk with me and I'll make you a better person. Let go and let God, 'cause He'll work it out for you. about what I do is I don't have to make the transition from gospel music to pop or gospel music to R&B, because folks like my friend Tom Joyner plays my music on his show, and it goes all over the world. And people know who I am, and they love who I am. I get a chance to be played on hip-hop stations. I get a chance to be played on R&B stations. I get a chance to be played on jazz stations. So I am one of those rare bugs that gets a chance to, do what I do and continue to stay true to who I am. If one of my songs is interpreted as a love song, so be it. I love that, but I don't have to change who I am. I believe that what I do for the world is what I'm supposed to do. If I decide to do a wedding album of inspirational wedding songs, hey, I might do that. If I decide to write a love song, I might do that. But never, a full album of baby, 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 come over here, that kind of thing. Because, I don't know. It's just not me. That's not where I am. So I have to do what God tells me to do. I have to inspire people to think higher and live better. So my prayer for you today, I pray your songs. I try to do a lot of writing on all the albums. The early albums, I got a chance to write a lot, simply because there was myself, the producer, and the musician. The band, of course. But now that I have crossed over into the mainstream, I am afforded, because of the mainstream record label, I am afforded the chance to work with great people, like I said before, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and Greg Curtis, Shep Crawford, those guys that I wouldn't have been able to had I been at the same gospel level, the gospel record label that I was at. And so when I collaborate with these guys, they have such a respect for my writing. It's like, wow, you guys are like way up here, and I'm just like, here, and they're like, nah, you're up here with us. So I get a chance to write, and I love writing. My degree is in radio, TV journalism, so I'm writing all the time. I started writing as a kid, poetry, poems, stories, narrations, all kinds of things. So I love writing. I have the responsibility, and I live my life public enough to let them know that, you're not going to find me in a party swinging out, drinking, being all over the floor or whatever. Of course I get invited to a lot of things that are good causes and things like that, but there's certain things that I can and cannot do as a Christian. And and as the respect level comes around, people who really know me, like Tom and Donna, they know me, and I get a chance to hang out with them every now and then. They know that I'm a real cool person. But the challenges as far as being a Christian in the industry where it is competitive. I can't tell you that it's not competitive. It's definitely competitive. What I look at is, what are my motives for being in the industry? And if my motives are pure for being in the industry, God takes care of the rest. I know I say it all the time, but He really does, because my heart is really for helping the people and getting them to a level of spirituality, as you say, relationship with God, that no matter what comes their way, they can put on a Yolanda CD and feel better at the end of that song or at the end of that CD. That's what I'm here for. I don't have time to compete with this one or that one, or the pop divas, or, the hip hop guys. I don't have time to compete with those guys. As a matter of fact, our album came out the same day that Kanye West's album came out, and they were like, are you scared? Are you scared? Am I scared? Kanye does his thing, Yolanda does her thing, and at the end of the day, Kanye is going to need what Yolanda gives. Even when you cry all night, you're all right. Well, I am reverend, but I don't use it as far as the music is concerned, because a lot of people are turned off by that title because they've been hurt by people who call themselves reverend and who call themselves pastor. What I do is I let them listen to the music. I put the word in the music, and I put it in the music in such a way that it's palatable, that it addresses their situation, and then by the time, like I said before, by the end of the song, by the end of the CD, they're like, wow, okay, this is cool, I can do this.
More from Yolanda